Welcome everybody to our Mentor Walks virtual conversation today. I'm Adina Jacobs, and together with Bobby Marla, we're the co-founders of Mentor Walks. I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land across the whole of Australia and pay my respect to their elders past, present and emerging. We have people in this session from all across the country, and I encourage you to learn the names of the traditional owners of the land in your area and learn a bit about them. I'm in Sydney, and the owners here are the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. Today's conversation is on how to cultivate a positive mindset and stay motivated. And the wonderful Julie Dempsey is here with us to talk through how to understand motivation. She'll share her guidance on practical steps we can take and tools we can use to build and maintain a positive mindset, which is something that we all need after the challenging year that 2020 has been so far. Before I introduce Julie, I just want to talk a little bit about the conversation series that we're running and how it's worked so far. Today's our 7th conversation, which is pretty incredible. And we put a call out at the beginning of lockdowns to our mentor community to ask them what they thought they could offer over and above their usual generosity with being mentors to our community, because there were just so many things that people needed to know more about and connections that they needed to form. And quite a number of our mentors stepped up, and Julie was one of the first. So we've run sessions like how do you manage fear of losing your job with Lindley Edwards, know your strengths and drive your success with Mim Bartlett, how to recession-proof your finances with Kate McCallum, how to get your idea off the bench and into the game with Karen Vaughan, and some others as well. And they've all been unbelievably successful, and everybody's walked away with skills and tips that they can use in their everyday lives. They're all available on YouTube, and I want to say a deep thank you to our mentors who have answered the call and stepped up and supported the women in our community. So thank you very much, and to you too, Julie, for today. So when you walk away from the experience today, what we're asking everybody to do is one thing, big or small, to support another woman. It could be something as big as checking on someone that you thought looked a bit flat, or something as huge as calling out an injustice when you see it, or making a connection between two people that could result in a job. Whatever it is, please make a conscious effort over the next few days to support another woman. It really makes a huge, huge difference. So without further ado, I'm going to come back to you now, Julie. Julie is running our conversation today on how to cultivate a positive mindset and stay motivated, and she's here to share her wisdom with us around that. She's a certified clinical hypnotherapist and transformational mindset coach, and a business leader who's spent her career helping people and organizations grow and thrive. She really understands the challenges faced by individuals, entrepreneurs and companies. She's come to Australia from the Silicon Valley, where she held leadership positions in large organizations and startups before coming here to run an accelerator for women-led businesses. Her unique combinations of skills have made Julie a sought-after speaker. She's a facilitator, a mentor and advisor for the Australian business community, and she's passionate about working with people and groups and organisations to adapt their mindsets for greater personal satisfaction and professional success. And on a personal note, Julie and I met a few weeks after she arrived in Australia. It was before we had launched Mentor Walks. It was before our first walk. Bobby and I were talking about the concept and in the planning stages of it, and we immediately saw that Julie would be a wonderful mentor for our fledgling community. So she was there for the very first walk that we did in Australia, and she's been many, many, many times since then. So again, thank you, Julie, for your support and for being there for our community. She's going to run through a combination of exercises and sharing her learnings with us. And if you have any questions for Julie, please drop them in the chat as we go along. If there's time at the end, we'll do some Q&A. I'll go through the chat and pick out the most common questions. If not, then we'll follow up with an email and Julie will answer some of those questions in writing. So I'm going to step aside now and let Julie take it from here. And then I'll be back at the end for a very quick wrap up. Thank you. Enjoy, everybody. And Julie, I'm really looking forward to this.
Thanks so much, Adina. So happy to be here with everyone today. To get started, I'd like if everyone will just indulge me to get us to kind of come together and feel like we're in the same room and we're nice and relaxed. So I'd like to take a couple of deep breaths together to kind of shake off the day. So if you're comfortable with it, I'd love for you to just close your eyes down gently right now for just a minute and get nice and comfortable and relax and take a nice deep breath in and imagine you can see white healing light flowing through your body as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, imagine that you can see everything that's no longer serving you leaving your body. And take another nice deep breath in, breathing in more healing white light and seeing it flowing through your body, bringing you calm and confidence. And then breathe out anything that's not for your highest good. And one more time, one last deep breath in, breathing in white healing light and feel it flowing through your body from head to toe. And exhaling out any last remnants of anything that's no longer serving you. And feel nice and calm and relaxed and present. It's excellent. So now you can open your eyes, and if you'd like, just kind of shake out your hands a little bit or shake your body just to shake off the last little bits of the day and get nice and comfortable. And we'll get started. So I'm so excited to be here today. Like Adina said, when I first moved here 4 years ago, I went on my first mentor walk not long after that, and I've been participating ever since. It's one of my most favorite things to do every month. I get so much out of it. I love being a mentor, and it's been absolutely phenomenal to participate, whether it's been in person or virtually during this period of time. So if you're on this call and you haven't actually participated in a walk before today, I highly recommend for you to join. It's a phenomenal experience. So you've joined us today because you want to learn some practical tools about mindset and motivation. And I know that this is something I wish I learned when I was much younger. I wish I was taught this in school. I remember learning things like algebra and thinking, how am I ever going to use this? How is this going to be practical? And I don't use that every day. But I do use my mind every day. And I was never taught anything about how to make that work for us. It would have been really helpful to learn these tools to support me. And if we learn these tools, we can actually get ourselves to a better place where we're feeling more positive and more motivated. We use our mindset for that. But before we can get to these tools, we need to get to the root cause of why we're not actually feeling that motivation, so that we can understand what it is that we need to shift. And I know everybody is here on this call today is an intelligent, capable person, because we wouldn't be here if we weren't. We came here because we wanted to learn. So if we could do this on our own without learning tools, we absolutely would every day. But it's not something, unfortunately, that's automatic. And we need to remember that it's actually not human nature to feel motivated every minute of every day. Yet, I'm willing to bet that most of you on this call, and myself included, feel a little bit guilty or feel a little bit less than when we're not feeling motivated. And why is that? It's likely because when we were younger, we were told, you've got to be productive, don't be lazy, do your homework now, make sure you clean your room, do all of these things. And any time that you were sitting there relaxing, your parents would say, what's wrong with you? Get up and go do something. So we've been programmed, and it's not because our parents didn't love us or wanted to harm us. They had our best interests in mind. But this translated into this feeling and this belief that we weren't born with, but we developed over time, thinking we need to be productive, we needed to be motivated all of the time. And so when that doesn't happen, we start feeling like we're lazy or we're less than, and these negative thoughts start going through our minds, and we feel the guilt. Rather than automatically just saying things to yourself like, hey, Julie, you've had a long day. It's okay. Take a rest, relax. I don't know if any of you have ever said that to yourselves. I typically don't say that to myself. Instead, it's like, ugh, why am I feeling so lazy? Why aren't I getting anything done? I feel bad. And what happens is I start feeling less and less motivated the more I give myself these negative messages, unfortunately. So it turns into this negative downward spiral that it's hard to get out of. And when we start feeling like that, our brain actually starts functioning less perfectly. So we're actually not in a mindset where we can use our full brain and our full capacity to think through problems and solve problems. So we need to shift that. And the good news is that we can shift that. We just need to set our mindset in the right way. And there's a few steps that we can take. And the good news is we've actually already taken the first step to make that happen together today. By sitting there and taking a few deep breaths, we're able to shift our mindset. We're able to shift out of any kind of negative thought we were in. And that's something that it's available to us all the time, wherever we are. So simply taking a few deep breaths in that way, or maybe even getting up and walking around the room, will start to shift how we're thinking and feeling. The second step is to ask ourselves, is it really that we're not motivated? Because I'm willing to bet when you're not feeling motivated, or you're feeling like you're being lazy or not doing what you should, that you're actually doing something else. Quite possibly involves Facebook or Instagram and scrolling through and maybe comparing yourself to everybody else and thinking, oh, they're out there doing all these great things and I'm sitting here being lazy or not doing what I should. Or maybe you're binging on Netflix or watching cat videos. Whatever it is, you're actually doing something. So when you say, is it true that I'm not motivated? It's actually not true. You've been motivated to do those things. They're just not the things you necessarily had on your to-do list or felt like you should be doing. So once we understand that we do have motivation, just not for the things we think we should at the moment. And that's where it's important to take the third step, which is finding out the root cause and the reason behind that lack of motivation. That means we need to sit down and have a little bit of a talk with ourselves. We need to come into our body after we've taken those deep breaths, really feel present and get clear on why that might be. And that might be another thing that we're uncomfortable with. Again, growing up, that was something, stop crying. It's not a problem. Keep going. You're fine. I was always told how I was feeling. So it became very easy, and it's become very easy for most of us, I would imagine, to just gloss over those feelings, to actually not notice what it is or identify them. So we need to stop and figure out what those feelings are, because they are at the root cause of why we're feeling that lack of motivation. And based on all of the clients I've worked with and a lot of the talks that I've been giving, I've come up with 5 very core reasons as to why we are losing that motivation. The first is that we're already tired, or we might even be burnt out. So it's hard to stay motivated when you've already done 105 things in the day and you come home at the end of the day, you're feeling tired. You need to recharge. The second is that we might be actually out of alignment in terms of our values. We might be in a job that we don't enjoy or doing things that aren't in our values, and we need to shift that. The third reason I find that's very common is we're sad about something, about the loss of a job, a loss of a loved one, whatever's going on with COVID and feeling like we're disconnected. The fourth reason is that we've got some sort of fear or anxiety. I fear that I don't know how to do this well enough, or I can't do it perfect enough. So rather than actually stepping into that fear, I'm just going to stand back and I lose my motivation to move forward and get things done. And the fifth is that we have a comparison mind going, where we look at other people and say, oh, they're doing so much better than I am. I'm such a loser. What can I do? So when we look at these 5 different things and we identify which of these it might be, or if it's something else, then we can come to figure out how that we solve. So stepping back to each one of those, for example, if you're feeling tired or burnt out, that's signaling that you need to rest. and get some self-care before you can feel motivated again. So what you need to do is stop and notice this feeling. Notice that you're tired. Honor it and give yourself some time to recover. And if you're taking that downtime, if you're taking a nap or making sure you're getting enough sleep or just simply meditating or relaxing in some way, the important thing is to really feel into that and give yourself that rest that you need rather than feeling guilty for not continuing to stay in action. Because actually, if we start to feel guilty about this instead of stepping into it, we are not getting the full benefit that we need to be able to recover. And if it's not that we're tired, it's that we're burnt out. I can't tell you how many women I've worked with where they have been running for not just months, but years with their career and their family and everything else, and they are tired. Stopping and taking a breath for a minute or even a week might not be enough. If you're experiencing that burnout, you need to notice that and honor it. And it might be necessary to take more than a week. It might be necessary to take a month to really restructure what you're doing in your life so you can fix that burnout, fix your adrenals, get back in tune with yourself before you can expect yourself to start feeling motivated again. And if you're feeling guilt while you're doing that, it's going to prolong that time that it takes to recover. We need to fully step into feeling what it is we're doing and respecting our need to recover. The second is a lack of alignment. And that signals that we need to realign what we're doing. And if we're not able to do that, we need to reframe our mindset about what we're doing. So if you're in a job that you really don't love, and it's not the type of work you want to be doing, and it's out of alignment with your values, it might be time to reassess and make a change. And some of you might be thinking right now, I don't even know what my values are, so how do I determine that? If that's the case, don't worry. There are a lot of people who don't, and it's an easy thing to sit down and figure out. So get some help figuring that out, and then you'll be on the step to where you need to be. You're definitely not alone in that. Sometimes we're just programmed to do the things we're doing. We don't even stop and think why we're doing them. I was working with a client who told me she hated to run, but she went running every day for exercise because she believed she needed to exercise. And it didn't even occur to her to think about, what can I do instead? So we had a chat about that and went on to explore some different things she could do instead. And she started bike riding. And she absolutely loved that. And that was able to step in and replace. So we need to be open to the thought and the idea that there could be some alternatives to things that we've always just naturally gone to. And sometimes it feels a little bit scary or unfamiliar when we're exploring new options. But sit with that and work through it. And you'll get to a place where you can see there's different answers to the questions that you've been asking. There are times, though, when we're not actually able to realign what we're doing. We might be in a job and money's tight and we feel like we can't make a change. And if that's the case, that's okay. We just need to realize that we're in a pattern where we can't shift things right now. And so instead of shifting the circumstances, we need to shift our mindset. So if we're in a job we really don't like and we get up every morning and we say, I really hate my job, guess what's going to happen? Your job is probably going to really suck that day because you've set your mindset with that intention already. And I'm not saying that if you get up tomorrow and you've been in a job you hate and you wake up and you say, I love my job, that you're automatically going to feel love for your job in one day. But we can start shifting our mind in different ways. That's going to help us get to the place that we need to be. So if that's the case, you can do things like start thinking about what are the actual benefits I get out of my job. So I'm able to pay for and support my family. So instead of saying, I really dislike my job, catch yourself and say, okay, and at the same time, I feel good about the work that I'm doing because I'm able to support my family. Or with this job, I'm able to go on a great holiday every year. So look for the things that you can find that are positive about it and start reminding of yourself of those on a daily basis. And you'll get to a point where you're feeling better about these things. And then you'll start to feel a bit more motivation. So when those negative thoughts come up, remember, just stop and notice and shift to something that's more positive. The next thing was feeling sad. I learned this saying here in Australia, she'll be right, mate. It's all about everything's fine. We just sweep it under. We don't worry. We're not sad. We're not feeling bad. But if we have something in our life, whether it is the loss of a job, the loss of a relationship, just losing our ability to be together with friends because of COVID, instead of saying, it's all right, I'll be fine, we need to actually stop and feel that sadness. We need to take time to mourn appropriately, because if we don't, that stays with us and we keep those feelings just below the surface and we can't actually recover them. So really sit with the feelings. Sometimes people might feel that that's actually self-indulgent or slightly uncomfortable, but it's not. It's really not. You need to step into it and feel it so that we can make that shift. One thing that's common that I hear a lot these days are people talking about, you know what, during times of COVID, I actually have it better than so many other people, yet I'm still feeling stressed or anxious or unmotivated, and I shouldn't. Or, you know what, my boss is a total tool. He or she is a bully. It's ridiculous to work with them, but I should be thankful that I still have a job. The reality of the matter is, if you are feeling these feelings, even if you've got it better than somebody else, these emotions are still valid and we still need to process them. It's also not a zero-sum game. Just because you're doing only this bad and somebody's, doing even worse, it doesn't mean that they would do any better if you were doing any worse. So make sure that you pay attention to your own emotions and take care of yourself. And don't worry about those other people, or that, who am I to be feeling that like that when other people have it worse off. The fourth one is fear and anxiety about accomplishing something. So very often I hear people saying, well, I can't get going on that. I don't feel motivated because I'm just worried I'm not going to do a good enough job. And that often leads to procrastination as well. Because we haven't actually processed that emotion and understood that we're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, and we don't know how to get started or where to start, or worry that we're not going to be good enough at what we're doing, we just lose our motivation and step that aside. So it's important to, again, step back into your breath, really feel into it, find proof points for yourself that you are actually capable. I'm guessing everybody sitting in this call today has a roof over their head, right? So we've been doing something right to get this far in life and to have shelter. And we've likely had jobs, even if we don't have one now, or the income's not where we want it to be. So ask yourself the questions. So is it really true that I can't do a good enough job at this? Well, I've been employed for a number of years. I keep getting promoted. So if I really think about it, the truth is I can accomplish things. So it's really important to find those proof points for yourself that you don't need to feel that fear and anxiety, or you can step past it and actually accomplish things. And if you're in a mindset where you actually can't get yourself to a point where you're finding those positive proof points, turn to one of your friends or turn to a coach or somebody who can help you with that, because they'll be able to find those proof points for you. Once you have those, you'll start feeling better. And then you can just take the first step, take the first action. Just take a small action. And anytime you take that first step, you're on your way towards motivation. And then the fifth thing that I talked about is a comparison mindset. We've all done this before. I look at Adina and I see that beautiful home behind her. And I think, why don't I have a beautiful home like that?
No, it's not real. It's from a catalog.
I had to throw that in there. But I might think that. I don't know that it's a catalog, right? So I think Adina's got all of these skills, which I know she has anyhow. But really, we look at somebody else and we say, oh, I don't think I can do it as well as they can, or why don't I have the perfect life they have? Instead of looking to ourselves and saying, you know what, there's actually things I'm good at too. So when you're looking at somebody else and you're looking at something that they do better, we all have our own core things that we're really good at. So just appreciate the other person for what they've done well, and then turn it back to yourself and look at and think of something that you're good at and congratulate yourself for being good at that. It's really important to be able to appreciate ourselves for the things that we're good at. It's not bragging, it's not boasting. And how much time do you actually spend focusing on and appreciate the things you're good at versus worrying about the things that you're not good at? We need to shift that mindset, and we need to spend more of that time thinking about the things that we actually do really well. So our human mind believes what it is, whatever it is that we tell it. So if we tell it that we're not good enough and we're not capable, it believes it. If we tell our mind that we're amazing, that we're able to accomplish things, that we know that we can get done what we need to, it believes that too. It also likes what's familiar. So if it's very familiar to be giving your mind these negative messages, it draws towards that more often. If you make it more familiar to have these positive messages, it will draw towards that more often, and you will feel more positive and more motivated. Just look at any time that you're buying a new car. You've heard that example before, I'm sure. You've seen that, where all of a sudden you're buying a blue Toyota, and every car out there is a blue Toyota. Your mind is exactly like that with the messages that you're telling it as well. So make sure you're giving it those positive messages. So those are kind of some of the core reasons to why, the root causes of why we have that lack of motivation at times. And there's a lot of tools and exercises that we can use to get into that positive mindset, to start feeling more motivated. We've gone through a few of those, and I'll start with reminding you about those, and then I'll get into a few others. And the first I'll go back to again is to just breathe. Like I said before, this is something that's always available to us. If we're in an uncomfortable situation, if we're not able to get in tune with our emotions, if we are just feeling completely wiped out, take a breath and refresh. Shake out your arms, however many breaths you need. That's a great way to reset your mind. The second that I've been talking about is identifying your emotions and understand why you're feeling them. I know for me, this was something that was really difficult to get into. And I've heard this from a lot of other women. As I was talking about before, the way we're raised. You're not sad, you're fine. Stop crying, you'll be fine. Don't worry about that. You're fine, right? If we're constantly told these things, we start disconnecting and just acting like we're fine. So take some practice, and really, when you start feeling something, feel it not just in your mind, feel it in your heart, feel it in your body, and stop and identify what that emotion is. And if you don't feel that emotion, you can't clear it. So give yourself permission to feel what you need to feel so that you can identify these root causes. The next that I've been talking about is noticing these negative thoughts. Now, theoretically, we have about 80,000 thoughts a day, and 60,000 of those are negative. So we can't spend all day noticing 60,000 thoughts. We wouldn't have time for anything else. But if you can catch yourself 3 or 4 times a day when you start going towards a negative thought, and stop yourself and reframe and go to a more positive thought, the more you practice this, the more it will become natural to you. The next tool is, again, asking yourself with things, is it true? Is it really true that I'm not good enough? Is it true that I can't accomplish that? And find proof points. Is it true I'm lazy? Well, no, actually I did 120 things today. So I'm not lazy. I'm just taking some downtime now. And the more you do this, the more you realize that you're able to rewire your mind and see and focus on how motivated you really are. A great way to do this and really get into it deep is write down 100 things that you've accomplished. I did this once, not too long ago. I did it again. And I couldn't believe all the things that I had on my list. It was amazing. You will truly amaze yourself by how much you get accomplished every single day. The next thing is to celebrate. We don't celebrate ourselves enough. Or we wait till something that's really big and we celebrate that. But the reality is we should find something small or something big to celebrate in ourselves every day. Because again, if we celebrate something that we've accomplished, we're telling our brain that that is what we want and we want more of it. And it's rewiring us to go forward and continue to do the things that we feel are good about celebrating in ourselves. The next is to remember that words matter. So reframe your mindset with different words. So if you're like someone like me, I am completely allergic to routine. There's something about it, I just don't like it. So instead of saying I'm going to build routines into what I'm doing, I call them rituals. What a beautiful word that is. I feel completely different about performing a ritual than I do about a routine. And if you make that first step of that ritual something really easy, it's great to be able to prompt you to go on to the next steps. Another thing might be, for example, chores. This is a word I've heard more in my years being here in Australia than I ever had. I think we stopped talking about chores when we were like 8 years old in the States. But everybody here talks about all the chores that they need to do. Oh, I need to stay home and do chores today. Who wants to do chores? But if instead you set up goals for yourself and things that you want to accomplish, you shift that. So even something simple, like if you don't love doing dishes and it's a chore to do my dishes, if instead you say, I'm going to set up a goal for myself. My goal is to have a beautiful, clean kitchen because I love having that. You start to feel differently about doing your dishes. So you can do this in everything in your life every day. The words matter. The next is give yourself positive mantras each and every day. The more we say positive words to ourselves, the better we're going to feel. So you can even record a meditation for yourself to listen to every day with these words. For my hypnotherapy clients, at the end of a session, I create a 10 to 15 minute recording for them with all the positive things that come out of the session. And if they listen to that every day for 30 days, that's how long it takes to really rewire these new thoughts in. So every day, if you just sit down and you say to yourself, I like myself, I love myself, I feel confident, I feel amazing, I'm accomplished, and so on and so forth, you start to really feel these things to the core of your being. And then I developed these little rituals that I've started giving to all my clients to use to help us to start the day and finish the day. Because how many people at the beginning of the day wake up and say, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out. I have so much to do. I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. And then at the end of the day, you go through your to-do list and I'm like, oh, I haven't even gotten half this stuff done. I might not have even crossed anything off my list. And you feel overwhelmed and you feel like crap. And that starts programming you to feel like you can't do everything or get anything done every day. So instead, the minute you wake up in the morning, the minute you open your eyes, think of 5 things that you did well the day before. And by the way, opening your eyes is the first step in that ritual. And I'm willing to bet each one of you can do that every day. So again, it's simple things like that that get us started. But by starting our day thinking of 5 things that we did well the day before, we get ourselves in the mindset that we're able to accomplish things. And then at the end of the day, finish the day off, instead of going through that list and overwhelming yourself with the things you didn't do so you can't sleep at night. Think about 5 things that you actually accomplished that day and celebrate that and congratulate yourself for that, so that you're getting yourself ready to go to sleep and get a good night's sleep knowing that you've accomplished things during the day. Even if those accomplishments are getting out of bed, brushing my teeth, taking a shower, self-care, all of those things, along with completing a project, taking care of the kids, whatever it is, all of those things are accomplishments that you should thank yourself for. And then self-care. Self-care is not self-indulgent. Self-care is something that helps us to create the right mindset and motivation every day, and should be practiced every day. It shows our mind that we value ourselves, and you deserve the self-care. And again, do not feel guilty for adding self-care onto what you're doing every day. Because if you feel guilt while you're doing these things, you're not going to feel good about it. I used to feel guilty when I ate ice cream. And guess what? I felt bad for days and hours. I'd get a stomach ache, all of these things, because I made myself so anxious about the fact I shouldn't be eating ice cream. So I don't eat ice cream every day, but now when I eat it once in a while, I've decided I'm just going to really enjoy that ice cream. And guess what? It is so much more enjoyable, so much more rewarding. And then I'm ready to get up and go do something else, right? So with everything that you're doing, feel good about the self-care that you're taking. That can be anything from meditating, taking a moment to have a little dance party with yourself, talking to a friend, getting out into nature, just brushing your teeth in the morning or having a shower. Whatever it is, whatever lights you up, make sure you're incorporating that self-care every single day. And the last thing, the last tool that I have for you today, ask for help. You've probably heard the saying that it takes a village to raise a child. I know and believe it takes a village to raise an adult. So turn to your village and ask for help. Whether it's a friend, a family member, going on a mentor walk, talking to a mental health professional or a coach, turn to somebody and ask them for help when you need them. It's a sign of strength to be able to step out and ask for help. And if you're the type of person that likes giving instead of receiving, realize that you are giving somebody the gift of being able to help you when you ask for that help. So we've come to the end of what I wanted to share with you today. But I want you to please remember that you aren't the only one feeling this way if you're not feeling motivated. It's perfectly normal to go through periods of time. And we need to normalize that, and we need to know it's okay. And it's okay to sit with that feeling, figure out why it's happening, and take the steps we need to have it pass, especially now during COVID. I've been speaking to so many people who are feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and they're not even sure why. They're like, this isn't normally me, right? Understand that the times we're in right now, there's some uncertainty. So be gentle with yourself, take care of yourself, and realize that you deserve this. and sit down and really get to the core and feel into why this is happening. Last week, I had a couple days where I just felt so sad and I couldn't understand why. And I spoke to a few other people that are into hypnotherapy and things like that, and they were all coming together and feeling the same way. And I don't know if we were just feeling the weight of what was going on, but I had to really take some time, and it was hard for me to sit with it myself. And I had to remember to give myself the permission. And it actually helped when I spoke to someone else who said, remember, Julie, you give people permission all the time to step back and to relax and to recover. And so if you're not able to give yourself that permission, talk to somebody who's going to give you that permission, because you deserve that and it's necessary. So just stay really mindful of where you are, how you're feeling. Take good care of yourself. Remember to focus on the positive words that you want to give to yourself. And if you've got too many negative thoughts flowing through, remember to identify those and shift them. And if you're not able to do that, talk to somebody else who's going to tell you how amazing you are, because I guarantee that everybody on this call has somebody in their life that will help them out with that and tell them how amazing they are and help them get to a point where they're feeling better and they're feeling motivated. So thanks so much for taking the time to listen to this. I want to check in with Adina, because we can now either take some questions or I can take everyone through a short kind of meditation.
I think it would be really amazing to do a meditation. I feel like you've given us so much that we can do, and it'd be a really wonderful experience if you could take us through what your clients experience with you.
Sure.
So if you could do that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrific.
And just 1 second, sorry, Cindy's asked a question about Melbourne walks. Joni will definitely send information out about that, because things are changing so rapidly every day. I'm afraid to misspeak and say something that's not accurate. So Joni will let us know.
Perfect. Okay.
Cool. All right. So what do we need to do?
Okay. So everybody just get comfortable and relax and sit in a position where this is going to take about 10 minutes. And basically, this is the transformation that I do with clients at the end of a session. So normally we go through regression, but I've done this with groups before. And just listening to these words and letting them seep in really helps. I did a recording of this earlier today. So if it's something that you want to listen to again, reach out and I can get that to you as well. So just sit down and get comfortable in a nice, comfortable position. And the best way to get into a hypnotic state is to take your eyes, take your eyeballs, and look up. So if you can do that now, keep looking up while you take a nice deep breath in, as you feel like you're looking at a real or imagined spot overhead, almost like you're looking into your own eyebrows. And then keeping your eyeballs up, take another deep breath in and out. And still keeping your eyeballs up, take one more deep breath in. And this time, as you breathe out, slowly, gently, shut your eyelids down. And as your eyelids shut down, the muscles and nerves in and around your eyes are becoming heavy, droopy, drowsy. Your eyelids are starting to feel as if they've been glued shut, sealed shut, locked together. But you can just forget all about your eyes now and relax and listen to my voice. And if you want, you can drop your chin just a fraction so you get that same looking down sensation you'd get when you look over a balcony or down 10 steps. And as I count you back down from 10 to 1, you're going to see your feet, hear your feet, feel your feet treading each step. You're moving on to step 10 right now, as each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 9 and 8, and you can see your feet, hear your feet, feel your feet treading each step as you move down, drift down, travel down, to an even deeper level. You're taking steps 7 and 6, going deeper with every step you take. You're taking step 5 and you're halfway down as each muscle, every nerve turns loose and you go deeper. You're taking step 4 as you gently, calmly, easily move to an even deeper level. You're taking step 3, and any sound, any noise, any movement around you is carrying you deeper, further into hypnosis. You're taking step 2, just go deeper. And deeper just means going deeper into an awareness of yourself. You're taking step 1, so just go deeper, drift deeper into the wonderful state of hypnosis. And as you go deeper, you don't need to think about anything except one thing. Your mind is powerful and listens to the words you tell it. So you have the most phenomenal power to wire your mind for motivation and to believe in yourself and achieve all that you desire. You are ready to prime your mind in a way that gives you the most phenomenal results. And every day you remember that your mind listens to the words you tell it. Your mind does what it thinks you want it to do. And now that you know this, you make it a point every day of telling your mind better things so you feel more confident and motivated and have a better life. And every day you say things to yourself like, I like myself. I love myself. I believe in myself. I can accomplish everything I desire. I am capable and confident and know when to push forward and do things and when to step back and recharge. And I know that taking care of myself and recharging is important for my well-being. So I am comfortable in practicing this every day. I feel good about taking time to focus on myself and my well-being. I know how important this is, and I honor that. And the more you say these things to yourself, the more this becomes who you are. And you can look over and around and through your life, and you can see the powerfully positive messages you want to remind your mind of daily. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful tool, the most driving and most motivating part of you, and it's locking on to new and better words that you use. And as you go deeper, you tell your mind precisely, clearly, accurately, just what it is you want. So take a moment to think about what it is you really want. And make sure you give your mind that message. You tell your mind, I am comfortable in my body and in my mind. I am comfortable easily identifying and processing my feelings. And I feel comfortable doing this regularly. I easily and effortlessly fill my mind with positive thoughts and self-belief and use words to describe myself that are kind and loving. I know that I am worthy and treat myself as well as I would treat my best friend or a young child. I am deserving of kindness and of love. I am enough. Let your mind know every single day what it is you require of yourself, what you give to yourself, what you insist on having. Tell your mind every day, I am choosing to be kind to myself and believe in myself and feel confident and use positive words. And I'm choosing to be motivated and feel great about it. And your mind gets it immediately. And your brilliant, wonderful, powerful mind, the most driving force within you, is locking onto these words, accepting them so easily. And every day you feel motivated in ways that give you the most phenomenal results. Every day your subconscious mind is locking onto these words, understanding how you want to be and what you want to think. And because your mind understands, your mind comes right back. It motivates you, it conditions you, it programs you, it compels you to take action, to think positively, to do what you want to, what you need to have an uncompromised life that you are determined to have. And anything you want that requires making some changes in how you think and how you talk to yourself, you easily and effortlessly make those changes. You feel so confident, you believe in yourself and your ability to feed your mind positive, motivating words and images. You're communicating with yourself in the most powerful way every day. And every part of you is seeing results. And everything you do is giving you results. And you hear these words and think these thoughts and accept these suggestions. You're changing your thinking. You're changing your thought processes. You are programming yourself to have more energy, more drive, more passion, more dedication, more commitment, more belief in yourself. And you feel so strong and confident because every day you think and you see and you believe in your mind's ability to change the way you react as you give yourself these more positive messages. You have that wonderful combination. You have talent, you have belief, and you have the special ability to communicate with yourself and give yourself positive, motivating messages. You are becoming unstoppable. You have everything that it takes and so much more. You have skills, you have talent, you have inner belief and confidence in yourself. This ability to dialogue with yourself, to communicate with yourself in such a powerful way that motivates you so fully is becoming more and more instinctive to you each and every day. Your potential expands as you move forward. And as your potential expands, your mind expands because you are wiring in these fantastic new words, beliefs, and habits. They're becoming marvelously embedded in your mind. So feeling excited, feeling thrilled, feeling delighted, feeling empowered, feeling so good about yourself, feeling confident and amazing. On the count of 5 and 4, you can slowly, calmly, easily start coming back into your full awareness. On the count of 3 and 2, feeling confident, feeling phenomenal. And on the count of 1, feeling self-love, feeling wide awake and fully aware. Just open your eyes, fill up your lungs, take a nice, deep, long breath, knowing it, feeling, believing it's true, and so it is. Welcome back.
Wow, I feel like I've had a full night's sleep. Thank you so much, Julie. That was really, really amazing. And if you're happy to share that with our community, then that would be a really wonderful thing to send out after this. Wow, there are so many things that I picked up there, really. I mean, the constant reminder to step back into your breath. I know it's available to me, but I just don't do it. And so I need to stick a Post-it note on my desk and just remind myself to do that. Finding proof points to remind you of what you've been able to achieve if you're feeling a bit of lack of confidence or motivation also. I mean, we've all done so much. And I remember once I did an exercise where I wrote down every single thing I did in a day, and I could not believe how much I managed to squash in. And I also I understood why I was always feeling stressed. And so if you're feeling stressed and you feel like you're not getting anything done, try and do that, like your 100 points list. It's an amazing thing to do to really make you understand what you've accomplished and what you've been able to do. the other things that I picked up were self-forgiveness and really understanding yourself and getting back in tune with yourself, and that guilt prolongs the time it takes to recover, and that you need to step into it and sit in it so that you can move past grief and exhaustion and move through your lack of motivation. So Julie, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you doing this for our community. I want to remind everyone here to do one thing, big or small, for another woman in the next few days, please. Our next conversation is the 16th of November with Jackie Abbott, who's here today. Thank you, Jackie. She's going to be talking about a practical approach to networking, identifying who's in your network. Is it aligned with your current and future aims? And are you actively utilizing your network? And networking is such a powerful thing. We all have it in our ability. We all have communities of people we can tap into, and we all have people that we can support. So it'd be really amazing to learn how we can really use our networks to do that. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.